the Superman of science, and he loves to play with fire. And the things he'll do, you can too, if you so desire. To try this at home with Mr. G.
Hello and welcome back to Do Try This at Home. I'm your host, Mr. G, and this is the show that takes ordinary household items and turns them into something extraordinary. You're probably wondering, Mr. G, why are you down on the floor in your kitchen? And you're not in your normal spot here at your kitchen table. Well, the reason I'm on the floor is because today's experiment, everybody, is going to be just incredible, and it requires that I have a particular camera angle so that you can see exactly what's going on. What are you going to need for today's experiment? Well, to start with, let me warn you, do not attempt the experiment in the same fashion that I am going to do it. You can do it this way, the first way that I show you, which will be the way that would be much safer. What are you going to need? You're going to need a piece of string. You're going to need a hammer. Is that a real hammer? It's a real hammer. You're going to need some pennies. I got about 10 pennies here on the floor. You're going to need a yardstick. You're going to need a cardboard tube, like the one that I've got here that came out of like the middle of a Christmas roll of wrapping paper, like Christmas wrapping paper, just a light cardboard tube. You're going to need a balloon and a pillow here to set the balloon on. Now, my yardstick's not just any ordinary yardstick. I've modified the yardstick and placed a sharp needle in the end of it, as you can see here. That's in there good and tight. Now you can leave this part of the trick out if you want to, or if you want to do it with a balloon, that's the only way that I suggest doing this particular feat of magic and science. So, let's get started, shall we? What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my yardstick and I'm going to place it on the edge of the table here so that if it falls, the needle, the sharp needle, will hit the balloon and pop it. Do you agree? Well, let's find out, shall we? What I'm going to do is I'm going to set the cardboard tube over here as a support. It's barely on there. Now, if this is all lined up right, I think it is. Let's take a look here. There we go. Okay. Now that it's lined up right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to knock the cardboard tube out, dropping the needle onto the balloon, and it should pop the balloon. I'm going to hold the balloon in place with my hand just to make sure that it doesn't roll away. Sure enough, it's exactly what I thought would happen. So we've got a broken balloon, we've got the cardboard tube and the yardstick, and ooh, that actually stuck into the pillow as well, so you know that's a sharp needle. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to take my pennies and I'm going to stack them up on the edge of my table in the same spot that I had the yardstick balanced on the edge of the table in a stack. Let's put those in a stack here. And I'll put that right there like that, right on the edge. In fact, I'm going to make them almost actually come off the edge of the table just slightly, so it's kind of angled right off the edge of the table. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my string and I'm going to take my hammer, and to show you how, let me see where my, okay, there's my needle, so I want the needle on the opposite side. To show you how this is done, let me come in a little bit closer. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the string, I'm going to place it, the loop of string, over the hammer like that. And now I'm going to take my yardstick. Now you might say, well, what's that on your yardstick? I did glue a little piece of wood here so the hammer wouldn't slide. You can try different various methods so the hammer doesn't slide off the yardstick. Mine doesn't slide if I just glue a little piece of wood on there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hang the hammer like that from the yardstick. You see how that's hanging there? Now I don't want that to slip and fall and make a loud noise and scare my dogs. So, I'm going to carry that over here, like that. The next thing I'm going to do, now the needle's over here facing down. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it is there. The next thing I'm going to do, so I'm going to place that, not on the edge of the table, but onto the stack of pennies that's right here. Just like that. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go get my cardboard tube over here. Actually, I better not lay that there, it's heavy and it's going to knock those down. I'll lay it on the edge of the table for now, so I have my cardboard tube ready. Now, let me get my cardboard tube. I'm going to set my cardboard tube up, just like I did with the balloon. Whoa, that's heavy. There's my pennies. There's my cardboard tube holding the end of the yardstick here. Okay, now I've got the whole contraption in place. I've got the heavy hammer, I've got the stack of pennies, I've got the cardboard tube holding the other end. The only thing missing is the balloon, right? Well, this is the part I don't want you to try at home. I'm going to do this because I'm all out of balloons, so I'll use my head instead. People say I have a hard head, so let's see if they're right. Make sure I'm in the right spot here. Yep. That thing swings down. It's going to hit me square in the side of the head. Okay, now for the scientific and magical part of everything that we're doing today. From down here on the floor, using only incredible willpower, I am going to overcome the force of gravity. Are you ready? Everybody count to 3. I'm going to knock out the support. 1, 2, 3. Using only the power of my mind, I'm keeping the entire contraption above me. Now, to prove that this is for real, watch this. Escape. I'm Mr. G. See you next time on Do Try This at Home. Well, I think it would fall down and the sharp needle here, very sharp needle, would probably pop the balloon. Don't you think so? Let's find out. Well, if the needle would hit the balloon, it might pop the balloon. A balloon, I want you, whoops. Start that again. I would not suggest you do it in the exact same way I do. The way that I would suggest you do it is, to start with, mess up. This is going to be a real blast, believe me. To start with, what you're going to need is, forgot about ordinary household items. But I don't suggest that you try it in the exact same way that I'm going to do it. To start with, if you try this, fuzz on the yardstick. That's nice. Okay, let's start that up.